We'll get started. My name is Bill Bell. I'm with the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety, and I'm very excited to be here at Franklin County High School to kick off Kentucky's first Safe Teen Driving Challenge. I'd like to give a big thanks to Principal Tracy for hosting us. As a dad of 4 teen drivers, Governor, we'll talk later, I know personally all the work that goes into learning the rules of the road to get a driver's license. While textbook knowledge is gold, there's nothing that beats being on the road and learning firsthand. Working in highway safety, I know drivers I talk to of all ages would consider themselves a good driver. But what does it take to be a safe driver? Ultimately, it all comes down to the actions you take behind the wheel. You can't be a safe driver and text. You can't be a safe driver and be impaired. You cannot be a safe driver and speed excessively. Today we're here to talk about a new way to help younger drivers know how safe they are while blending cool technology and friendly competition to reward safe behaviors. The Safe Teen Driving Challenge is open to all 16 and 19-year-old Kentucky drivers with a permit or a license. All you have to do is register starting today through January 24th at kyhighwaysafety.com. You'll get a code to download an app before the challenge kicks off on January 25th. Every time you drive, the app will monitor your driving behaviors on things like braking, cornering, speeding, acceleration, and distraction. There will be a leaderboard that will be updated every 2 weeks. It will tell you how you're doing so you know what to work on. In April, we will announce 4 winners with a top prize earning $2,000. Thanks to AAA Bluegrass and AAA East Central for sponsoring the prizes. I'd now like to introduce Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Secretary Jim Gray, who has been a champion of building a safety culture in Kentucky.
So I'm going to just ask you all to give it up one more time for Bill Bell because, thank you, because Bill is in his role, in his director role for safety, for highway safety, has really been a champion. And we have at minimum once a month meeting. And at that time is when I get to hear his conviction and his inspiration about this. And so he's been really excited about this project especially. I also want to give a shout out to a big advocate for safety in our transportation cabinet, in our Department of Highways. He is our state highway engineer, and his name is James Ballinger. James, I saw you a minute ago. Where are you? You're over here with Buckle Up Bear, the Buckle Up Bear. Buckle Up Bear, stand up and say howdy to everybody. That was an applause line too. Thank you. This is our mascot for the transportation cabinet. So, a big hello to all. You know, we take cues in the transportation cabinet from the top, and that is from Governor Andy Beshear. I'm going to be able to introduce Governor Beshear in just a minute, but I will tell you that he makes it clear from the top. There we go. He makes it clear from the very top that safety is the top priority for all of Team Kentucky. Now, thanks to technology, our world is of course changing. Often, and we hope for better. That means that we have strategies that we need to work on, to prepare for, like promoting the safety of new drivers behind the wheel. And we're here for this challenge today because over the last 3 years, and you're going to hear more from the governor on these numbers. I won't get too far ahead of him, but just let me say 47,000 crashes involving teen drivers across the state. We know that just one crash or one fatality is too many. And that's why we've been hard at work to prevent the loss of life through a combination of efforts, education, practice, and persistence. The incredible engineers of Team Kentucky's Transportation Cabinet are constantly looking for ways to build better roads and to make them safer for drivers and pedestrians of all ages. And our Office of Highway Safety, for example, led by Bill Bell, do one heck of a job, a great job of promoting responsible driving habits every day with campaigns like Buckle Up and Phone Down, Drive Sober. Not only do they visit classrooms to highlight safe driving, but they also partner with law enforcement to provide hundreds of federal grants for these and other programs, which amounts to millions of dollars in support. That's $10.3 million. Our law enforcement partners, they not only play a huge role, and they're here today and you're going to hear from them. They keep people on the roads safe and help educate students in the classroom to prepare them for the responsibilities that come with driving. We're seeing those efforts pay off with lower crash and fatality rates. Now, efforts to protect every life on our roads continue today with this really inspiring challenge. And I'm really confident that our students will have some new safe driving habits by the end of this project. So I encourage every driving Kentuckian to practice these same safe habits every single day behind the wheel. Now, it's my honor, it's my pleasure to be able to introduce my boss now, who I said earlier, his top priority, whenever it comes to a project that we're undertaking, I know it from the Transportation Cabinet, from building roads and bridges. And he's always saying, now Jim, make sure it's safe. He says it about Kentucky's families, about Kentucky's kids. He says it from the heart. He translates that to the head of all the people who work within the state's employment. And that's a big deal. So it's my pleasure now to introduce to you not only the most popular governor in the country, but also the best, Andy Beshear.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Andy. I'm a Franklin County resident. I live down by the Capitol. Excited to be here with you today. And listen, our goal today is not to preach to you. It's to say that we care about you and to encourage you through this competition to drive safely and to be careful. We want and we need each of you to grow, to continue your education, and to take leadership positions inside the Commonwealth or outside. As I'll talk about in a minute, we have amazing things going on in Kentucky. Things and opportunities that have never existed before. See? Yeah, that was a quick timer. And we want to make sure that you all have the opportunities to grow and to take advantage of the great potential we see in front of us. It is great to see so many soon-to-be or new drivers that are here with us today. As a dad of 2 teenagers and somebody that's on the road in this county a bunch, we want to make sure that you are safe for yourself and for every other driver on the road. Listen, I remember how exciting it is to get that driver's license, to have that freedom from mom or dad or your guardians to be able to go where you want to go. But it also comes with a big responsibility to be patient, to be focused, and to be safe. We know that far too many crashes happen that can be prevented. And when a crash occurs, it's not just damage to a vehicle. Actually, we're lucky when it's just damage to that vehicle. You can sustain serious, lifelong injuries. You can lose your life or someone that you love. Sadly, over the past 3 years in Kentucky, we've seen 13,000 injuries to our teenage drivers, and we've lost 210 Kentucky teenagers in fatalities in these accidents. That's 210 people that are loved, that are irreplaceable. 210 amazing potentials that have been lost. I remember in high school losing one of my friends who I played baseball with in summers to an accident. Another one of my friends a year behind me becoming paralyzed while driving to school. These are heavy but real world consequences that we don't want to see for you or your friends or your classmates or anybody else. While we are seeing some really good signs overall, it looks like we'll be able to announce on Thursday that traffic fatalities are down last year versus the year before. Losing even one person, especially one young person, is far too many. We don't want to see anyone hurt or gone too soon to a preventable crash. So that's why we're here today, to support you. And we figure the best way to support you is through a contest, and a contest that can actually kick out cash just for driving safely. Think about it, it's something that we should all do. But the benefit that you could get for it simply by signing up, by following the law, and by being careful could put a couple $1,000s into your pocket that could pay for a lot more gas, to be able to drive a lot more places, or maybe secure that next opportunity you're looking at. This new contest is a positive incentive for new drivers to be as safe as possible and to be named Kentucky's safest teen driver. We want your generation to be the leaders of tomorrow. And who doesn't want to win a little bit of money? Again, for buckling up, just as important for putting that phone down and then paying attention while you're driving. This new contest is just one way we're trying to make safety a priority. We're working on our roads and bridges all over Kentucky to make them as safe as possible for you. How about Frankfort and Franklin County's road crew, along with our transportation cabinet that's moved so much snow and ice to protect our people? And for those that are interested in potentially going into engineering in the future, we're actually sponsoring civil engineering and construction management scholarships, 25 a year to high school seniors and current college students, worth up to $60,000 a year. So, if you're interested in engineering, you maybe want to work for the state, there's an opportunity to go to college with a lot of help from Team Kentucky. But in the end, we need you. And I say that we need you because your families and your communities love you, but we've got things going on in Kentucky right now that should excite you for the future. Right now, we've got the brightest future and opportunities for you of any time in my lifetime. Over the last 5 years, we've broken economic record after record after record. Kentucky is moving up in the rankings in every place we want it to be that's about earning a good living and having a good life. We've broken the overall private sector investment in Kentucky, $35 billion over the last 5 years. We've created more jobs at 59,000 plus than we've seen in any other administration. We've had the best 3-year average for starting wages in the Commonwealth's history. We've broken our export record. We've broken our tourism record. Back-to-back years, we've been ranked number 2 and number 3 in per capita economic development. The toughest critics out there are these groups called bond rating agencies. They're how much it costs to build a new school or hopefully a new natatorium at some point. All 3 of the major bond rating agencies have upgraded Kentucky, talking about how positive our economy is. We're seeing companies invest in us in ways that have never happened before. I mean, think about this. Kentucky is building 3 of the biggest battery plants on planet Earth, and we just announced a 4th. Suddenly, we're where everybody wants to invest. Everybody wants to be a part of our new Kentucky home. And what that means for you is not just more opportunities at higher pay than any generation of Kentuckians has ever seen, but leadership opportunities at a younger age. You know, if we're going to grasp everything we've ever wanted for Kentucky, and I think all of us love where we're from, we take pride in our Kentucky home, then we need you. We need you at this special time to help us as a state push ahead, and then your and my collective legacy can be at the end of not just my term, but as you all take these leadership positions, being able to look back and to see how far we move this state forward in such positive ways. Each of you is going to have the opportunity to really participate in that, and to not just live a good life, raise a family where you choose, but to also leave this earth a better place. You know, my faith teaches me that we're supposed to give back, that when we've been blessed with opportunity, we make sure there's more opportunity for those coming behind us. I'm working hard to do that now, and each of you is going to have a good chance and a special chance to do that in the future. That's why we've launched this new initiative called our New Kentucky Home. That idea that we leave the stereotypes of the past behind us and we reintroduce ourselves to the world as an exciting place to do business, to raise a family, and to ultimately live your life. So I hope you're excited. I hope you're excited that you're out of class. A little. I hope you're excited about what's going on in Kentucky. And I hope you'll take a minute, whether you're thinking about it now or later, to get excited about this competition. But mostly, I care about you. I want each of y'all to be safe when you're out on the roads. And even if that's just thinking about those three things, buckling up, putting the phone down, and then driving at or close to that speed limit, just be careful when you're out there. You got a lot of people that love and care about you, even if some days it doesn't feel that way. And I know some days it doesn't feel that way. But I promise you, those people are out there and they want you to come home safe and sound. So remember, life's short. Our job is to do good things, to be kind to each other, and I think it'd be really exciting if somebody from Franklin County wins this big old prize and we can hand you this big check. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Governor. And thank you, Secretary. Another record we want to break is we want our fatalities to be the lowest in Kentucky history over the next few years. We have some aggressive goals. And so this, like the governor said, this is part of getting there. Let's see. Okay. Now we're going to talk about our partners. So we're not the only ones investing in this initiative. AAA Bluegrass and AAA East Central have been longtime safety advocates and partners for us and for all of Kentuckians. I'd now like to introduce Lori Weaver Hawkins from AAA Bluegrass to share some words. Next, she'll be followed by Ryan McMahon, who is bringing this app to us from Cambridge Mobile Telematics. So right now, Lori Weaver.
On behalf of the AAA Clubs of Kentucky, I want to express our appreciation and enthusiasm over the opportunity to partner with Governor Beshear, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, and all of Team Kentucky, along with Cambridge Mobile Telematics, to put safe driving in the spotlight with the launch of Kentucky's Safe Teen Driver Challenge. Motor vehicle crashes continue to be the #1 cause of preventable death among teens across the country. Young drivers are between 3 and 4 times more likely to be involved in a fatal traffic crash than their older counterparts. Several factors contribute to the higher rate of motor vehicle crashes among young drivers, including inexperience and risky behaviors like speeding, not wearing your seatbelt, and driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Teens may give in to peer pressure to take risks behind the wheel. AAA works hand in hand with other traffic safety partners like the Cabinet to remind teens and their parents the dangers of combining inexperience with poor decisions and risky behaviors behind the wheel. But another cause of the disproportionate number of teen-involved fatal crashes, besides speeding, besides not wearing your seatbelt or driving impaired, is of course distraction. While driving distracted is a problem that drivers of all ages need to deal with, we know that the prevalence of smartphone use and other distractions pose a significant risk to our younger drivers. Teens not only speed, they make mistakes, and they get distracted easily, especially if there are friends also in the car. Research has shown that the combination of visual, cognitive, and physical distractions involved in actions like text messaging make driving while distracted inherently dangerous. The good news is teen drivers can learn to avoid distractions behind the wheel and keep the focus on the roadway. Those skills contribute to safe driving behaviors that can last a lifetime. With the Kentucky Safe Teen Driver Challenge, Kentucky teens can lay the groundwork for driving without distraction, not just as young drivers, but throughout their lives. In addition, parents and other more experienced drivers can be reminded to model good driving behaviors that can influence others. AAA challenges the students assembled here today and those across the Commonwealth to avoid distraction behind the wheel and put safe driving in the forefront. Not just for the chance at prize money, but for the ultimate prize of saving lives. Thank you.
I'm Ryan McMahon with Cambridge Mobile Telematics, and we develop technology that helps understand risk behind the road. And one of the things that is obvious, right? We all know the right thing to do. We receive that instruction, we go through classes. If you don't do the right thing, you may come in contact with some of our law enforcement friends that share the road with us and remind us. But the real challenge is doing that right thing every day. And that's really where the technology comes in. You may not know this, but distracted driving is actually responsible for about a third of the crashes. 34% of crashes that occur, a driver's phone is in their hand at the time of that impact, but the data isn't necessarily known. So being able to give you that feedback as a part of this competition is really the goal, so that you can see how that behavior impacts you. And this data is just for you. So you get the feedback, you enroll in the competition, you see how you're doing versus your peers. You get feedback on speeding, on aggressive driving, and really on distraction as well. And that information comes back to you and you alone. You get that information to help understand. And the really amazing benefit is you get paid for doing the right thing. And these competitions have been used in a number of states and cities around the country before, but this is the first time that we've had the level of support from a governor like we have here in Kentucky. So I just want to thank not only the governor, but also the entire leadership here in Kentucky for the work that they are doing to ensure roads are safe for everyone to use, and to AAA as well for giving the feedback with the incentives attached to it. There's nothing better than ensuring that you're driving safe every day than getting a check for doing it and getting that in a short time frame too. So just want to thank the entire state for that emphasis. And then for everyone that's participating in the competition, just know that you get this feedback and it helps you become a better driver. In the past, the drivers that need that feedback the most are the ones that improve the most. So the bottom 25% of drivers have actually improved distraction by 50%, speeding by 50%. And that not only keeps you alive, which is obviously, in everyone's mind, but it also keeps you out of the side of the road and keep going where you want to go. So thank you to everyone here and for the opportunity to improve road safety here in Kentucky.
When I saw this presentation in Indianapolis last year, I said, well, we have to do this in Kentucky. And so I'm glad we're finally here kicking this off. So our next speaker, behind every fatality on the roadways is a changed life, a family living with grief, a driver living with life-altering injuries possibility, or a driver living with unspeakable regret. Here I'd like to share her story of how distracted driving changed her life. I'd like to welcome survivor advocate Kathy Strack.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for being here. You've heard a lot about the statistics and what is being done to help stop and lessen distracted driving, but I want to tell you how it impacted myself and my family. So today I thank you for giving me the opportunity to share our story. My only brother and best friend, Mark Sevilla, he lived in Lexington, owned his own business, was a Coast Guard Auxiliary Vice Flotilla Commander, an avid boater, fisherman, a second father to my niece and nephew, and the best brother you could ever ask for. On January 29th, 2015, Mark was traveling south on 71 in Verona, Kentucky. Full disclosure, he had just bought his first brand new Chevy Silverado truck, complete with Bluetooth, So he was using the hands-free to talk to a friend about an upcoming fishing trip. When all of a sudden he screamed, "Hang on," and then let out a blood-curdling scream that is still the source of my nightmares. Traveling northbound was a semi-truck. Investigators would determine the driver had been texting, both texting and reading text, for over 40 miles. He was reading a text when he swerved into the shoulder, hit a broken down car, lost control of his semi, veered across a wide median, and hit Mark head on, going over 70 miles an hour. He killed Mark instantly and severely injured a woman in a car next to him. The trucker got out of his semi unscathed, and instead of going to the aid of Mark and the other victim, he stood on the side of the road and deleted his text messages. When they say what you put on the internet never goes away, believe them. Through the investigation, they were able to retrieve every single text message he had been sending and reading that day. The interstate was closed for over 9 hours, and we were told by law enforcement it was one of the worst accidents they had ever seen. Our lives were changed in an instant. We don't have time to go through all the milestones and everyday events Mark has missed. It still pains us to have that empty chair at the table, but it's our reality. Please note, at no time have I called what happened an accident, and I'm glad to hear that the speakers here today have not referred to them that way either. And why do you ask? Because distracted driving is 100% preventable. It wasn't an accident. It was a trucker's choice to drive distracted and to place more importance on a text than on the lives of those around him. And it just isn't our family that suffered. The trucker's family suffered too. He didn't set out that day to kill Mark, I know that. But he did make the decision to use his phone in a semi-truck. He chose to drive distracted. He was arrested and charged with second-degree manslaughter, second-degree assault, tampering with evidence, and a handful of other charges. He was found guilty and sentenced to 8 years in prison. One day at the courthouse, I had a chance encounter with his mom. She was an elderly lady. She came up to me with tears in her eyes, and I could see the heartbreak. And she apologized for what had happened and told me how it had impacted their family so far. Well, her son had been in jail. His child was born. His father died. He missed his father's funeral. And I can only guess how many more things he missed while he was in prison. He eventually got to return to his family. Mark will never have that opportunity. I know many of you are thinking, that will never happen to me. I can handle multitasking behind the wheel. Distracted driving doesn't kill. I've had people come up to me and tell me that every day I know that it does. My guess is the truck driver figured he could handle it too. After all, he was a professional driver. After Mark was killed, my oldest daughter and I would see people driving distracted all around us. Determined to help change behavior and to save other families from the nightmare we suffered, we formed a nonprofit called Two Eyes Just Drive. Our message is simple. Distracted driving is 100% preventable. It just takes a second for things to go terribly wrong. We want everyone to arrive alive and never want another family to experience the heartbreak ours lives with forever. My daughter, who couldn't be here today because of her day job, and I were in DC in May. We were joined by 180 families from around the country, all of whom had lost loved ones to distracted driving. We walked into a room, probably about the size of this one, with table after table filled with large pictures of the loved ones that had been lost to distracted driving. Babies, teenagers like yourselves, entire families, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents. It was truly, truly heartbreaking. We spent the week advocating for safer roads in DC. And as we headed home to the airport, we got word a freshman at our local high school was hit in a school crosswalk. He died. The mom who hit him had turned around for just a second to adjust her baby's pacifier. Distracted driving does not just involve a phone. And I want you to know that things can go terribly wrong in just a second. You can be the key to making a difference. You can be the generation that helps make distracted driving as unacceptable as drunk or drug driving. Please do not make your parents or loved ones get the call we all dread. Please do not be the reason someone has an empty table at the seat. Do not let your friends and loved ones drive distracted. And do not be the reason your future is destroyed. No call, no text, no post, no video, etc. is worth a life. I encourage each of you to take part in the Kentucky State Teen Driving Challenge. And when you go home today, hug your loved ones a little tighter. And remember, do not be the reason someone gets that call my family did. Thank you.
And I just want to amplify one thing that's why we're here, what Kathy just said, is that this generation could be, hopefully will be the generation that makes that happen, that makes texting, driving, or I've even seen people streaming videos while they're driving. That we have to put an end to that. We have to just drive. And I tell my kids that you cannot multitask while you're driving. That is your task while you're behind the wheel. Okay, so our final two speakers, we have someone that enforces the rules on the highways. It's Captain Baker from the Kentucky State Police. And then last but not least, your very own Franklin High School senior Ellie Bevington. So I'd like to welcome Captain Baker.
First, Kentucky State Police wants to thank the Office of Highway Safety and Transportation Cabinet for asking us to participate in this important event. Second, I'm here as a state trooper representing law enforcement, but I'm also here as a father of two teenagers, one of whom will be 16 later this year and will start her life as a driver. The Kentucky Safe Teen Driving Challenge provides parents with another tool to use to safeguard our teens as they transition into licensed drivers. This program addresses critical issues. According to the National Safety Council, over 320,000, let me repeat that number, 320,000 young drivers are seriously injured each year in crashes. The first year of driving is the most dangerous for newly licensed drivers, with more than 1 in 5 involved in a crash. And like Kathy said, it's not an accident. I'm not going to call it an accident either. Young drivers are involved in fatal crashes at more than twice the rate of other age groups. And speeding is the most common factor in these collisions. We can all work together to reduce these statistics by encouraging teens in our communities to participate in this challenge. Some teens may not be interested, thinking these dangers don't apply to them because they won't be involved in a collision. This mindset often leads to risky behavior behind the wheel. It is vital that you as teens understand the real consequences of poor decisions and unnecessary risk while you are driving. Today, Kentucky State Police, we have a driving simulator over here, and we also have a powerful visual reminder outside of the crash trailer. The crash trailer shows a vehicle that was involved in a fatal collision where 2 people lost their lives. It shows the outcome of a driver who fled from a traffic stop, reaching speeds of over 100 miles per hour. The driver of the Ford Contour lost control of the vehicle and struck a tree. Both the passenger and driver were killed. I do have a specific insight into this collision because I was the investigating officer of that collision, the vehicle that is in that trailer. There were several factors. Speed was a major factor, over 100 miles an hour. No one can really drive safely at 100 miles an hour. Impairment was a factor, and seatbelt usage. Not only did this driver cost his own life, but he took the life of his passenger because of poor decisions made while behind the wheel. This visual is a sobering reminder of real-life dangers of reckless and careless driving. Our hope is that what we've shared today will inspire all drivers to avoid dangerous driving behaviors. What makes this Teen Driving Challenge truly special is its long-term effect. It doesn't just encourage you to make safe choices today, but it will help you develop lifelong safe driving habits. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I want you to think about something we all do nearly every day, driving. Whether you're already behind the wheel or you're getting close to that milestone, we all know how easy it is to get distracted while we're on the road. A text comes through, a notification pings, or maybe you're just changing the song. But those few seconds of distraction can have a huge impact, not just on you, but on everyone around you. Today we're here to talk about something that is incredibly important, staying safe behind the wheel. As young drivers, we can make smarter choices to avoid distractions while driving. That's where the new Kentucky Safe Teen Driving Challenge comes in. This program, launched by the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, is designed to help us become safer drivers. By downloading the app and signing up, you'll be able to track your driving habits, earn rewards, and most importantly, keep yourself and others safe on the road. The challenge monitors your progress based on how focused you are while driving. You can earn rewards for making responsible choices like not texting or looking at your phone while driving, and for keeping your eyes on the road. The rewards are cash prizes that range from $500 to $2,000. But it's not just about the money. It's about making safe driving a habit and reducing the risk of collisions for all of us. We all know that distracted driving puts lives at risk, not only just yours, but the lives of your friends, family, and classmates. It only takes a second of distraction to change everything. So I'm asking you, no, I'm challenging you to take part in this program. You have the chance to make a real difference, not just for yourself, but for everyone you share the road with. Download the app, sign up, and show Kentucky that we are a generation of drivers who care about our safety and the safety of those around us. I want to take a moment to thank Governor Andy Beshear